But you can just crop that out.
Oh, you just went like the...
Yeah.
I think we're going.
Oh, I do have...
I don't see it. All right, we are rolling. The wheels, I think so. The wheels are up. It's been this week. I don't know. I think we're going. Let's just go. You want to just go? We'll just go. Yeah. It's Wednesday, hump day. Great day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You like Wednesday?
Love it. So love Wednesdays.
I know there's something special Wednesday nights we're going to talk about.
Yeah, that's right. We'll talk about it later on coming up. But we are into it. There's the Rhettster 3 months pregnant.
It's 3 months to
Shoveler?
Augusta.
Congrats.
That's why we have our green shirts on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, everyone loves that first Wednesday at Augusta.
Pinder.
If you would have been part of the pre-show, I think we should already, Pinder and Warner, scrapping.
No, it's because there's a perfect amount of time to spend with someone. And I think we hit our quota for today last night.
Really?
Yeah.
It was only 45 minutes.
Well, you got to do a little work before and we're texting throughout the day. And
No,
I'll tell you what, because I've only done one Afterburner episode, I feel like I'm just like a regular listener. I get in my vehicle in the morning, boop, fire up the podcast from the night before, fresh content, hear what the boys had to say about the big win last night.
Yeah, obviously,
right?
Huge win. So now that you've listened to 2 episodes, I believe you can 5-star like and subscribe and all that. Just
like and subscribe.
5 stars on Spotify. Let's go.
Let's go. I don't
right.
do Spotify still.
Waiting for the free Spotify.
Waiting for the free Spotify.
You know what's going to happen in 10 years? We're going to sign a deal with Spotify, and you'll finally get your free Spotify.
Even then,
and then you'll retire.
Even then,
or you'll die as we're signing it. Just as you're about to get your free Spotify.
Great, sign a big fat deal right
yeah,
about that.
Let's go.
So if you, we'll talk about Afterburner coming up. This is Barn Burner, the Rhettster, back at the kitchen table after the location swap last night because you get too animated and loud. You'll wake up the whole family after a huge loss like the Flames had last night.
Fist pumping the Walker Doer bad angle shots and such.
Yeah.
Very loud and noisy.
I will continue to snap show it if Anderson has to play 2-on-1s anymore this year.
It's been a rough week.
What did you say? You said it was just the stupid kids or dumb kids? Didn't he say yesterday or the day before about how they're learning how to play 2-on-1s? Dumb kids nowadays.
I'm not teaching them how to do 2-on-1s.
It's not even. It's probably not the kids' fault. You should probably start looking at some of these coaches and going, "So you're too busy watching flipping video to teach these kids how to play a 2-on-1. You idiots."
Yeah.
Maybe you could use video to teach. That would be a novel.
Well, they don't practice.
Daryl mentioned it post game.
Saturday off, Sunday off, no morning skate, today off. Let's take some more days off. End of the month, 17 days off. Hey, why not? You guys are in perfect shape.
So
we're doing well.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You know what killed the Flames season? Because clearly it's going down in flames. It's just awful. It's trouble now. They got 2 points out of 4 on this road trip. The sky's falling. It's the Harlem Globetrotters, Dean, that ruined the Calgary Flames 2022-2023 campaign.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't get that one practice in, and then there's only 2 rinks in North America. They both can't be used. We couldn't make any lineup change.
Come on, Mayor in Calgary. Build some more rinks there. Need some ice.
That's the problem, though. You get into Event Center. Now the Washington Generals are going to be playing on the other
more. Rink. Yeah, more people coming through town for. Jeez.
Pinder kind of morphed into his mouth breather irrational fan there for a little bit.
Oh, there's some of that. Don't worry.
Yeah. We'll talk to Seravalli. He's our NHL insider. We'll get him on here momentarily. But yeah, the Flames have a 3-1 lead. What was the one calling card of Sutter Hockey? You get a lead and you just choke the opponent to death. 3-1 after 40.
That thing was just gift
Why
wrapped.
bother?
Little bow on top.
Goal.
All you had to do was just put it in the bin.
Walker home.
They did not. No. I was thinking I was at the Islander game on Friday. They had the lead. No drama.
Yeah.
Don't make it dramatic. Just hang on, play 60 and win it. And they did. And I felt like, especially after Chicago, here's your lead. You've played well. The second period, very strong. You gave up that first goal, power play, whatever, but then
bounce back,
earned the lead back. You were the better team. And,
dominant in the second. One of their better periods of the year.
And I wrote it down again. And I'll ask you, Rhett, how did the Flames lose? Why did they lose this hockey game? It's not any one thing, but man.
Yes, it is.
There was
one thing.
Turning point. Yeah, go ahead.
It's one thing. And the one thing is a shitty goaltending and a terrible, terrible rebound. Right there. It's done. They lost all momentum. St. Louis was out of the game. You guys were watching it. They'd stopped competing. They were content to walk through the rest of this game and let the Flames have it. The Flames were dominating them. They were playing, they were skating, they were going. And Markstrom, on a nothing shot, drops it in the slot for an easy tap in, and everything changes. And I said last night on Afterburner Boom, I know you listened, but I don't know if you remember, Anderson to me made 2 screw ups, and they weren't blatant awful screw ups. But the third goal, second in 20 seconds, whatever, he gets caught standing in front of Markstrom. Well, don't be there, first of all. But second of all, if you are there, recognize it and block it. Recognize that, oh, damn it, I'm in a bad spot. I better block this for my goalie. Instead of kind of trying to hide from it. Yeah.
That second goal is such a weird sequence. I went back and watched the whole thing. Neither one of those goals, I would say, were good scoring chances. They both of the plays started in the Blues zone. The Flames have the puck in deep, and they up the ice they come. And on the one, Kadri plays it a little bit soft, and on the it's almost a pseudo dump in. Yeah. And as you guys said, did it surprise Markstrom? Did it shock him? I don't really know what happens here, as he just coughs it right up. Alexandrov, whoever the hell that is, even the Blues were stunned. It's like finding a 20 in your ski jacket after a year. It's like, what a gift. Can't believe it. And then the shot from Kyrou. Kairou's he's a great goal scorer, great player. It's a wrister from beyond the top of the circles.
It's got to be stopped.
And it's almost in the middle of the net. Like, it's not top corner bar in. If Markstrom's just kind of square to it, I feel like it hits him.
Well,
and he's screened by Anderson. But still, the puck is it's just on net. It's not a scoring chance.
Agreed. And the first one, I wonder, okay, so you're in total control. It's early in the third. That horrible rebound. Rhett was suggesting that he's not maybe ready for that, or at least something's a little off there, because it's something he doesn't give rebounds on. And if he does, they're not usually right in front of the net. Like, over 2 strikes, you're out. If that doesn't happen, are we a little more settled and ready for the next one? Because it just seemed like that was the pucker.
Oh, for sure.
28 seconds later, the next one happens. If the first one doesn't happen, maybe the second one doesn't happen. It's just like Scrambleville all of a sudden, because they're worried about blowing a lead.
And they're showing the video here. That he makes a great save off of Shen right there in the slots. But it's hard. You make great saves, and then some that don't go in should go in.
That's a really good save. But is that where Shen shot it, or was that a huge? You know what I mean? Like, you're right. I don't want to pile on the guy, but you can't fall asleep and let that rebound drop. And then what Pinder was talking about, the third goal, the tying goal. I think he was still pissed off. He had forgot the game started again. He was asleep on the second one.
He was hot after that rebound.
He was still mad. Yeah, he was still pissed off at what happened in the second goal. It was like, so.
And remember, the Blues scored another goal that was disallowed for being offside.
Yeah.
So they very easily have a 3-1 lead and lose in regulation.
Yeah,
to the Blues, who are banged up.
6 regulars we counted yesterday, wrote.
So, I mean, are we overreacting? Probably.
Yeah.
But it's on the heels. As you said last night, the Chicago thing, you get past it, you win the next game, you move on. Okay, Chicago's in the back of your mind. You can't do this after the Chicago loss.
You know what you need? You have to have a decisive win here tomorrow night. And they were on their way to one. That's what I wonder about the psyche of this team, because this thing was in a great spot. And yet it felt like they were the team puckering when it got to 3-2. The Blues are house money. It's like, we're already counted for dead. Let's just go have some fun. It's like watching the Canucks with the lead.
Were they puckering, or was it a tie game because of their goaltender?
Well, I just mean when that second goal for the Blues goes in, I think it's like, oh my God, how did it get here? What have we done? The lead. Oh no, it's within one. Boom, another. It's tied. They're not comfy with leads.
Yeah.
We talk about Pike had a tweet last night or today, and we'll throw it up in the Pinder report. But this is a group, and Kelly Rudy keeps talking about, all these 1-goal games are good. You know what really would have been good? A 5-1 win and not sweating a 1-goal game in the third period. And yes, if you can win 1-goal games and learn to be comfortable in them, that can be an asset in the playoffs. But A, you got to get there. And B, for all the 1-goal games they played, they're not good when they're up by 1.
8 of their last 9 games have been 1-goal games. They have 16 losses this year by a single goal.
Like, are they getting better at this? It doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like, and they're not getting better in extra time either.
No.
Let's break. We'll bring in Frank Seravalli. He's hanging in. He's been listening to all this BS. We'll bring in
a lot of Blues Flames, Frank.
It's a lot.
Frank,
yeah,
Frank, I've only seen one worse moment when a goaltender fell asleep in St. Louis, and that was after a rookie party where me and Kipper may have over imbibed. And Kipper, absolutely, Frank, it was priceless. The puck left our zone, and Kipper leans back, puts his arms up on the net, and the Blues get it at like center, and they just throw it in, and Kipper doesn't even know. He's like, and it's in and out before Kipper recognizes it, and he starts kicking and scrambling around like, what happened? What happened? And it was already a goal. It was so good. But to his defense, there was no more that got past him that night. That was the end of it.
That sounds like Kipper.
Yeah.
Did
you gave up one bad one? That was it.
Did you say Kipper over imbibed? I mean, what are the odds of that?
That was his lucky. That's how it was his lucky charm. That was his stress reliever, was to feel no pain.
It was a little bit disconcerting watching the first 10 minutes of this show. I'm not used to you guys actually talking hockey.
Once a month.
Yeah, sorry. That's our bad.
You know.
And just for the record, if I could opine for 1 second, Pinder, do not think this team is puckering with the lead. I tend to agree with Rhett that I think it's mostly purely on the goaltending.
Yeah. But are they comfortable with Markstrom? Like, I just feel like no one's confident with Markstrom right now. It's not just Markstrom.
So this begs the question then, is why isn't Vladar playing?
Well, we opined he will tomorrow.
He will.
Yeah. It feels like it's got to be Vladar.
Just look at the last calendar month. Markstrom 12 games, Vladar 3.
Prior to that, because I looked this morning, Vladar went on that string of games. He was in
6 of 8 or something.
6 of 8, 7 of 10 kind of thing. That was right after Jacob Markstrom came out and said, "I suck at hockey
right now."
And then Markstrom came back and was playing and getting no run support.
Yeah, he was posting better results. The soft goals went away. He got on a nice run. And it appeared it had worked, Frank, where you gave him time to work on his game. They toyed with his stance a little. Is he wider? Is he skinnier? Whatever it is. He's posting better results. And it's like, okay, our number one looks like he's running in form. And then this last 2 weeks, there's been some of the oopsies sliding back into his game.
And the only reason they got a point in Chicago on Sunday is because of Vladar in the third period.
He came in at the 21-minute mark and only allowed the OT winner. He was great.
And the only reason they got a point last night was because of a coach's challenge.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Or if the linesman were at the right call, Frank. I mean, come on.
Frank didn't watch Afterburner or listen, but we talked about this. Part of the problem now for the Flames is going to be that they're in such a tight group to try and make the playoffs. And Daryl's old school. We know he's got his philosophies. He's not big on the young kids. They really have to prove themselves before they get a chance. He wants a number one goalie, Jonathan Quick, Mika Kiprusoff. He believes in that philosophy. Play your number one, blah, blah, blah. But now what happens to make those changes? It's even tougher because the playoffs aren't a certainty. They're going to battle. I think they'll make it. They should be good enough to make it, but it's going to be a fight to make it. You can't let points slip away. And I don't know how many coaches, whether it's Sutter or John Tortorella or whoever it is, are willing to miss a playoffs and maybe put their job on the line by not playing their number one, even though the numbers might support Vladar. It's still a tough thing. We talked about it with Pelche and the young guys coming in. Well, if you're in a spot where every point is crucial, which it might be down the stretch, how do you insert guys that have never played and you don't know what you're going to get? You're more likely, especially Sutter, to go with guys that he knows. For him, he probably trusts. We might have different opinions on some of the players, but he trusts them, and he's not going to take any chances. It happens a lot, and it's not just because of Daryl Sutter, where a team gets in a spot where they can't give up points. They're too tight. We got to get every point, and then you have to overplay guys, and you overthink it, and you overcoach it, and it ends up worse. I don't have an answer for it, but that might be part of it.
Well, I think reading between the lines, there's a pretty clear. It seems to me like there's friction between coach and management. I mean, the zinger after the Chicago game, we need to shoot so much because we don't have dominant players. Like, that's not at the players. That's at the person who put this team together. And whatever, you bring up a Phillips, you bring up a Peltier, whoever it is, and they don't play and they're healthy, that's another zinger back at management. Like, yeah, I'm not taking this. I'm not, whoever you want me to play, I'm the coach and I'm going to make the lineup. So, I think that's gone on for a while now. And I wouldn't be surprised, to your point, Rhett, to see it continue. At this point, after 1,400 NHL games behind a bench, you're not going to wake up next week and see a different Daryl Sutter. He's not going to suddenly just do things a different way. He gave Vladar a run. Clearly, right now, the trust factor belongs to Markstrom, whether that's deserved or not. And I think you could make a strong argument, given what the numbers say, given that it seems to me like I believe that Markstrom is dealing with a crisis of confidence more than anything, that you could point to as holes in his game. Yeah, can something, here or there be tightened up for sure? But when you see the big boy rebound like you did last night, that's not a hole, that's confidence. And when you see him flog himself publicly, that's confidence.
Is there, and this is always tough because it kind of goes to personal life. Was he not just getting engaged, or is there kids involved here? Is there, you never know with that side of things, right? It's probably none of our business, but that's also a possibility in my mind where there's stuff going on off the ice that might be playing into this. Because he played so much better last year.
I have honestly no insight into the personal aspect. That's not something I regularly look into or check in on unless there's some reason to believe that it's an issue. I haven't heard anything. But to me, I think it speaks to the nature of the position. Like, you look any year in and year out, there's a list of 4 or 5 guys that you can hang your hat on, and Markstrom was in that category for a while. But there's so many good goalies that have a blip that go from 925 to 900 in the blink of an eye. And for whatever reason, there's no explanation in that season as to why that is. It's not, part of it is what's happening in front of him. Part of it is his numbers. They never seem to rebound. I don't know why that is. It's like from start to finish, they can't ever get it together.
And to get back to the coach and the comments he makes, he spent a lot of time last year talking about how we don't have game breakers. This is how we have to play when we don't have a superstar. And it was, especially in the context of Edmonton being in division, they had 3 40-goal guys. Yeah, even when they do have these things, it's almost like he needs that us against the world. We're all blue collar. Like, that's the narrative he's always pushing, even when it's not necessarily correct. They had the best line in hockey last year at even strength. That trio, Gaudreau, Tkachuk, Lindholm, was absolutely dominant. They were game breakers, but even then he wouldn't acknowledge them as such.
And I know he struggled at times this year, and you watch him play the last few weeks and you can feel like it's starting to come together a little bit. But Jonathan Huberdeau, regardless of this year's results, the fact of the matter is he's one of the premier playmakers of his generation, one of the best passers in the game the last 10 years. Like, if you can't find a way to have him adequately replace the playmaking ability of Johnny Gaudreau, part of that, yeah, is it on the player? Yes, but part of it I think is also on the coach and maybe how he's viewing him and deploying him.
Yeah, I don't know
see
that you'd put Milan Lucic at the top of the list of finishers
No.
you could put your best passer with.
No,
That's where he's played for 2 weeks.
a lot of this for me is also they don't look like a team that's going to the rink and it's joyous and exciting and fun and exuberant, and you know what I mean. And there's a point where professionalism has to play into it, and sometimes you don't have that excitement, that exuberance and energy, but it's a lot easier to go and play when you are having fun and you're enjoying being at the rink. And I don't think that this group right now I don't think that's the calling card. I don't think they're pumped right now to be hanging out in St. Louis for another day. I don't think they're pumped to be getting to the rink. I don't see it. Even when they score goals, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, you can watch teams, and sorry, I always refer to it because I'm here now, but with the Sabres, you see them score, it is like we have climbed Everest every time they score, and they score a lot, but they're freaking pumped to do it. They got great goal songs. It's enjoyable. They're having fun. They like being at the rink. I don't get that vibe from the Flames.
Okay, so first off, no one has fun in St. Louis. Like 2018 Cup Final, I went to the casino every single night and just tried my best to not get mugged on my way back to the hotel. And second, how could they possibly have any fun when they've had a size 12 cowboy boot up their ass the entire season?
Well,
it's totally true. Even the 5-2 start, like it felt tense when they dropped a couple. It's like, why are we throwing the lines in the blender in game 8? You were a third period gaff away from beating the Oilers, and now everything is, we got to reinvent the wheel. Like, even Daryl feels like he's oversteering a ton. That's not a fun place to be when Daryl's tight.
And I wondered what Daryl won the Jack last year, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a detriment for a guy like Daryl. Now he's ultra hyped up all of a sudden because he's the one guy that he would never want to be known as taking his foot off the gas or being cocky or a big wig. It's like, I'm a blue collar workaholic. So he's probably oversteering it right now because it sounds stupid and it probably is, but I actually think him winning that trophy last year put more pressure on him this year to try and do more to prove that he was worthy of it. It's like, just go, coach. Just let them have fun. Let them smile. Let them enjoy being at the rink. Just take a foot off.
And he loses his two best players, right? He loses his 2 40-goal guys and knows how much harder it's all going to be this year. I don't know. You guys talked about it last night, too. Jacob Pelche is here. He's a first-rounder. Does he get in? You talk about the disconnect between management and coach. I'm sure Treliving would love to see Pelche get in.
I don't think he recalled him to not get played. And I don't think Daryl has a lot of interest in playing him. Daryl might prefer the Rune Dog, Kevin Rooney, right now. I mean, like, where he is on the spectrum of trusting rookies versus veterans. He is the most pro-veteran coach in the league. I don't know that I can think of one more.
Well, and you mentioned this on the afterburner last night, that Daryl is regarded as a guy who he's going to ride as number one. He rides as number one. He's had some really good number ones. You said it. He had Kiprusoff, right? Yeah. Kiprusoff in Calgary, he was lights out. Of course you're going to ride that guy. Jonathan Quick in LA. He could trust those guys because very seldom did those guys screw him. Right now, Markstrom's the number one, but he can't trust him right now. Yep. So it's, you know what it is? DGAF. Don't give a fuck. You win, you're in.
Yeah, I think it's at that point Thursday. I really do. Like, even for Daryl.
Like, look back to Phillips. Like, if you want a roadmap on Pelche, like 2 games, 904 ice time average, and how many as a healthy?
And a post. Like, he wasn't bad.
And on one hand, it feels like if you're looking at team failure or team struggles and you expect a kid to come in and fix them, I get that's not the answer. But it's part of building this team. It's part of finding answers, solutions. What do they need? Well, boy, Treliving, as you've said, Frank, Treliving's look for a scoring winger, been looking for a winger. Can't find a winger, get a winger. He's brought a couple wingers up that are their own homegrown guys that they've developed. Phillips has been here forever. He's been leading the AHL and still can't get in.
Yeah.
If there's not a scenario that exists more relevant than this, then what is it? I don't know what it is.
And Pinder and I were of the opinion last night that Chicago was the great scenario for the insertion of youth and excitement and young kids coming. Well, we didn't get to practice. We had to travel. Didn't get a morning
these
skate.
excuses.
So I can't play the young guys. It's like BS. That's the perfect time to play the young guys because
Last
they don't
place
need
team.
a morning skate. They're
Chicago
freaking
doesn't
pumped
even
to
know who they're playing. Honestly, I'm not
No.
exaggerating. Like
They're the
I've been
shit.
talking to people around the league, and they were like, "Oh man, I didn't even realize that guy was having a good season, and he's on my team." Like I'm telling you, they're not even watching their own NHL games because that's not what this season is about. And if you can't put a young guy in the lineup for that game, you might as well just wave the white flag.
Yeah, send them
And
back
one
to
guy just got an
Calgary. Let 'em
extension,
play.
and the other guy's in the last year of his deal, right? There's no problems here.
And then at the same time, you look at it, and they've collected what's the points? What have they been doing?
Points in
here,
12 of their last
right?
15.
So
They don't lose in regulation, Frank. They just decided they're going to choke away leads and lose in overtime.
I mean,
You're
what?
wild.
That's like death by 82 cuts is what that is. Just
Yeah. Well, and it's weird because there's still so much reason to think this group can be so much better, but it's so hard when they're not playing well to see Daryl making this environment anything but miserable.
Well, we can go round and round. They did play well. That second period, they flipping dominated the Blues. They were all
that's
over
the most frustrating part, I think, is that
Yep.
even when everything's clicking, it's kind of like my golf game. I could drive, I can hit the green, I can't putt for shit. You go through it, you fix one area of your game, and then all of a sudden, hey, the goaltending's not working. We get better play from Uyghur. We get Huberdeau starting to pile up points, and Jacob Markstrom gives up
Can't
a
play.
pizza in the slot. Like
That's true.
Mangiapane
And then-
finally scores. You got a good line for him.
Yeah,
Luch isn't
yeah.
dragging around. Oh, and there's the worst goal he's allowed in a month.
Should be leaving the rink just pumped. Let's go for a pint, fellas. Let's get a meal.
Yeah.
Got the day off tomorrow. Blah blah blah. Ah, damn it! Now we're watching video.
now
How
we're
are
watching
you for
video,
time, Frank?
and we might get mugged in St. Louis. Hey, I mean, like, hey,
because we got to you late. What's your schedule? How long we got you? We can
I'm
you
good.
go.
I
You
got
gotta
all the time in the world for you guys.
go. All right.
Except to
well,
play
we're-
on the hockey team.
Except to
Yeah,
play with
except
us.
for Jasper,
Yeah,
then you
that's
got all the
nice.
time for the Oilers guys.
I
Speaking of
figured with
Edmonton
this-
and the Oilers,
This dry January that I'm doing, you guys would just be really bad influences.
it's a terrible
That's
idea,
true.
by the way.
It's the end of
Terrible idea.
January. You get that far, we'll give you a participation
Yeah.
medal for dry January.
The heat seems to be on in Edmonton. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. I mean, how would we capsulize what Rhett said yesterday? That, Connor McDavid's never really had a leader there to
Great
help him
mentor
lead,
leadership-wise.
a mentor, that sort of thing. That maybe when you have two players who are so far and away better than everybody else, does that impact how you play? There are people already calling for Jay Woodcroft
He was just
To
brought
be
in a year ago.
to be fired.
He was not the
And then
right
we
We can-
talked about management not really doing a lot to, how could you waste away a 150 point season? Well, they're 10th by points percentage in the West right now.
Yeah. What you can't debate is you got to win. That this coming draft is great. There's lots of prospects that won't fly in Edmonton. It's another year of Draisaitl and McDavid. They have to make the playoffs. What's your read on the Oilers?
They're in a storm right now. I think there's no doubt about that. To hit on some of your points, you look at whether there's a coaching aspect of it, of your 24 and younger players that have not progressed at all and in fact have regressed this season. They have run into their own goaltending issues this year that has been significant and costly. That Jack Campbell signing, this is not me patting myself on the back. When I didn't pick the Oilers to win the division this year, I said, I don't think Jack Campbell's very good. And I think he's also a guy that really struggles with confidence. A lot of it is between the ears for Campbell. When you look at this team and their roster construction, that's another thing. Definitely, I think some complacency in terms of the management group and how you go about fixing it. But the truth is, they don't have the option to sit on the sidelines and say, hey, well, Evander Kane's coming back on January 19th, and all of a sudden, magically, everything will be good. The other part is, where do you start? What is the number one priority? Is it a defenseman? And if it is, this is what they're actually arguing about internally in the Oilers front office is, what kind of guy do we go get? Is it a, some would call offensive or puck mover? Or is it a stalwart, a Rhett Warner type, that's going to clear out things around the net and survive some of the pressure against the forecheck?
Some of us want to play guilty and get the boys on the road after a loss.
They actually don't know the answer, is the truth. So where do they go?
Would you offer one? Would you offer one? What do you think is the issue? Because I don't think it's that hard to note that they're goaltending and they need D and but what is the answer?
I believe it's a true defender. When I look at that roster and I look at how well their power play clicks, like, you could talk about Jacob Chychrun. I think they need him like a hole in the head. Like, they've got Barry and they've got Bouchard who can both play on the power play. Chychrun's not even a facilitator. He's a cannon. He's someone that you feed for shots. He's a shot threat. And he's a below average defender. So what wins in the playoffs? To me, it's adding someone, just looking at the market this year, of Vladislav Gavrikov, who can defend well. That's their ideal, I think, stylistic fit. They're not sold on that. I think they're potentially looking at guys that they think can make small area plays, 6 to 10 foot passes that can help get them out of trouble and up and on their way and get the puck in the hands of their forwards. And Rhett, I think you hit on a really interesting thing that I don't think has been talked about enough, in that when they had a team last year with Duncan Keith and with Mike Smith, the fiery competitor, Keith, the winner, I think they lost a bit of that influence on McDavid and Draisaitl that isn't there this year.
I think they also changed coaches, though. You don't want to give too much credit. I mean, if it was going so well with those two, they don't fire their guy mid-season. But they're certainly veterans that had leadership voices.
To that point, I mean, I've not had a ton of conversations. Obviously, Frank, you're more the insider in that. But my understanding is they do kind of miss Duncan Keith a little bit. He was a guy, just by his presence, there was that kind of gravitas that he brings to the room. And just, even when you're not playing, it just kind of, okay, there's a guy here who's done this before.
To me, it's very telling that he didn't want to come back. Now, I don't know the details of what Keith decided that time was up. Maybe it's his body, maybe it's other things. It's not
he was done.
But it's still interesting, right? If you're Duncan Keith, yeah, you've won. But if you think that you're a season away from maybe another cup, don't you stay?
I think physically he couldn't do it anymore. I think he was dealing with some issues that he was just saying, I can't play.
Then that's that. Anyways, but I've thought that all along with the Oilers group, and once McDavid's been there, I said it for years. Well, who's the guy that's showing McDavid how to be the main guy? It's awesome that he can go score 150 points. It's amazing. He's the best player maybe ever. I'm in agreement with his talent. The difference is, can he influence? You said it. Those young guys that are there, they're regressing. He's got to be the leader that brings those guys up, right? Messier and Gretzky were there. Then you had Curry, Anderson, all the rest of them that elevated their game, and they win championships. If you got guys that just take over, you have to bring everyone along with you. And I don't know that they know how to do that.
I want to ask you, Rhett, because you would have watched him up close and played against him. What changed in Steve Yzerman's game that he went from a 155-point player in this league to an 87-point guy and winning Selkies? That's when the Red Wings started winning Stanley Cups. Did you notice a difference in his game? Because I think that's maybe a parallel here. Not saying take your foot off the gas in terms of point production if you're McDavid, but does he have to play a different way? Is there any onus on him? Because I think some Oiler fans, and no one's criticizing McDavid or Draisaitl and saying you're the problem, But they look at it and say, we have a 3-2 lead with 10 minutes left in the third period. Why are you trying to feather a backhand through 3 guys in the neutral zone to send someone in on a breakaway? So walk me through what changed with Yzerman.
Well, I think Yzerman changed. Was it Scotty Bowman getting there and helping out? I think that a guy that has that much clout and has won as much had to rub off on Yzerman a little bit. I'm not sure the exact dates of when Scotty arrived and when Stevie kind of started to turn that corner. But I think there's some comparables to what you're saying. And again, I don't think you want McDavid to drop back and give you 100 points instead of 150. I just don't know that he's ever been taught or mentored to go, dude, you have to find a way to include the rest of your team, and you may have to sacrifice 10 points here. And I don't even know that it's a selfish thing. I don't think it's a recognized thing that he understands. And I said it when Woodcroft was hired. I don't think Woodcroft is the guy to challenge Connor McDavid. So Connor McDavid wants to score 200 points. What the hell's Woodcroft going to tell him? No, we gotta play some D here. Woodcroft's going to go, yeah, okay, whatever you need, bud. Right? Like, you get a veteran
and more
coach.
to the point,
Tippett was that, but okay.
So more to the point, if they go and acquire someone, we talk about their bottom 6 having no dimension and anything else that they can bring to the table. Let's say they go out and move the deck chairs around and find a good penalty killer, find a good face-off guy late in games. Does anyone really think that Jay Woodcroft, I think of his brother all the time, that Jay Woodcroft is going to send out, third line face-off guy to take a draw in the last 30 seconds of a game instead of McDavid?
I don't.
I think this is the problem is like, he's so good. Why aren't they better? I just think we're trying to get a little too cute. Like, is this not on the GM? Like, what's Ken Holland's signature move at this point? He's been there for 3 years.
Through this
4
whole
years?
conversation, we don't need to go a ton. I think it's a checklist. I think that there is roster makeup, cap distribution, goaltending, leadership,
all that
depth,
falls under the GM,
coaching.
right?
I think it's
sorry.
So how do you
when
fix
you
it?
add
It
all
feels
those
like
things
there's
up
no
and
fix all.
You have a checklist. I think of like Chevy Chase in Vegas Vacation as at the Hoover Dam. Like, he takes his gum and he plugs it in here, but like there's just something else that's flowing over. Like, you've got leaks all over the place. How do you appropriately plug all of those holes in one 52-day period? I don't see it.
You don't.
And that's why I was saying
this is the amassing of a lot of bad managerial or just mediocre managerial decisions over the last 3 years. Like, when you pay Darnell Nurse to be a player he's never going to be, when you don't give any sort of depth veteran leadership wise, when you cannot get your young players developed and incorporated. Like, Philip Broberg was a reach in the draft, and they passed on Zegras, they passed on Caulfield, they passed on Boldy. Like, I'm sorry, everything we've talked about falls at the GM's feet, and if not him, whoever's above him.
And it goes back further than 3 years, I think. The guy before was no better.
Yes.
Right? Like,
they just got out from Koskinen.
Screw up.
Yeah.
This is a long-term screw up, and it won't be a one-person-in fix. No chance.
And now you're in a spot where Connor McDavid's in his 8th season, Leon Draisaitl's in his 9th. And if you think about it from a 30,000-foot view, you've used up half the useful life of 2 of the best players of their generation.
The primes.
It's the worst. And you know what's sad? And the Oilers fans will flip out, and I don't give a shit. It's the worst case scenario for the NHL. They're in a shitty market in Edmonton, small market town, and you got the best players in the world, 2 of the best, maybe, and probably one of the best ever, and they're potentially going to be out of the playoffs again, or they've been out early in a lot of playoffs. Like, it's a terrible, terrible situation for the NHL. This guy should be front and center all over the place, playing in Chicago, St. Louis, any of the big markets, going deep into playoff runs, highlight reel all over, and we get none of that. None of it. You get 150 points and pack it in at the end of the year.
And they beat one of the best Flames teams of the last 2 decades in 5 games last year.
Well, that's a scary
What's that saying, though?
anyway.
How good are
Sorry,
the
I didn't mean
teams
to
of the
rub
last
that
2
in there at
decades?
the end.
Yeah. Thanks, Frank. See,
See,
That was
Frank,
fun.
we
That
like
was
to
good.
talk.
Good,
yeah.
We're good. We're good at talking hockey when things are shitty. We're not.
I was going to say, what if we
We're
were in Boston?
therapists.
Oh, it'd be such
Hey,
a
how
boring show.
friggin' boring would
We're
we?
talking about crab cakes?
Terrible.
Yeah.
There's two really bad. I learned this as a beat reporter in the locker room every day, traveling to every goddamn road game. It was the two worst teams to cover are the best team in the league and the worst. Everything in between is like chef's kiss.
Boston has played 40 games. They have 4 regulation losses.
And they had significant time without Marchand.
Where's the fun in that?
Without McAvoy. Like, this is insane what they've done.
We talked about it yesterday, Frank. The Leafs are having an unreal season. 25, 9, and 7. They're 11 points back in their division. Like the Bruins.
The Bruins are on pace for 139 points.
In a down year.
Oh, you got out of the first round. Congrats, Toronto.
Yeah,
off to Boston.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, buddy. Anything? We've been keeping you for anything going on? Anything kind of rumor-wise, firings, trades, anything cooking?
Nothing super front burner. Teams are conducting
what?
their scouting meetings this week, and that's the big. Once we get on the other side of that, this week, next week, leading up to the All-Star break, that's when the blueprints are being crafted, and then we'll be on our way.
Oliver
You're in Florida,
Shillington.
Frank.
I know you had a little bit of an update, which isn't much of an update.
Yeah, so Shillington is still in Sweden. He is skating on his own, occasionally with a team, is still working out, remains in the NHLPA player assistance program. And there's no answer to this point. The Flames are in a spot where they'd like to get one, I think ideally by the end of the month. And they don't want to push him in any way, but at some point they need to know, because they either need to save room for him or they need to go out and try and replace him. I think best case scenario, what they're looking for is for him to come back and go through the paces and go on a conditioning stint and get ready to hop in the lineup, because what you got from him last year playing in a top 4 role at $2.5 million, you can't go out and find that on the open market. It's just not going to happen. Not at that price point. So they then would have to throw
less than that last year.
Yeah, they then have to throw assets at that as well. So in a perfect world, that's what they're holding out hope for. I would say at this point, the odds are very stacked against that. I would say there's probably a fair bit of pessimism that he'll be back. If I had to handicap, I'd say 85-15, something like that. But you don't know until you get to that point where it's basically like, hey, we need to know one way or the other, got to make a decision.
And I'd probably put it at 85-25, but my math isn't as good as Frank's. It's probably where I'd put it. Frank, thanks for hanging in. Thanks for going on. And again, I guess we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, keep your head up, Frank.
Yeah, all right. Sounds good. See you guys.
Real good. Thanks, Frank. There he is, Frank Seravalli. Good stuff today on all things Flames, Oilers, all of that. Today is Wednesday. Let's cheer. Let's pick up the spirits in the room. It's Wednesday. That means it's hump day, whatever. But at Montana's Barbecue and Bar, it means Wednesday is rib day. Specifically, all you can eat ribs. Montana's, they're bringing back the viewing party. They're bringing back the, hey, let's go out and watch the game. And maybe have a drink or two, have some good food, some good times, some laughs, watch the game. And yeah, it's not Friday. Let's just don't make it. It's not a big deal. Just go out, come as you are, sit down, great food, good people, good times. There's the daily deals. They're spinning out more daily deals as we go along through the month. All you can eat ribs.
Oh yeah.
Pork only. I saw on the asterisk there, Retro. So we had talked about that before. I know that won't break your heart.
No, right now I'm doing that stupid fasting kind of thing where you don't eat in the morning, and now I do the show and that picture comes up and I'm just nauseous. I'm nauseous. So hungry.
Mondays, it's the half price wings. We talked about that today. All you can eat ribs. They are masters of the barbecue, masters of the comfort food. It's smoked, fire grilled, all in-house. Find a Montana's near you and check it out today.
So I finish the plate. I can ask for another plate, and it's just
Yeah, there's a bit of a
it's
protocol.
conveyor belt.
You don't
You,
just walk into the
Pinder,
kitchen and grab more. You just kind of, they'll
Okay.
take care of you.
You're good.
you
No,
can't
from
go
there.
Pinder. Actually, you should go with your white T-shirt. That's kind of goes hand in hand. How would that
Just
look
got
at the
stains
end of
right
2
here. Very
racks?
I'm kind of distracted right now. I saw that
I'm
picture.
starving.
Time for the
Oh,
Alex.
stop
Kill
it,
it. Come on
Alex,
now,
you
quit it.
bastard. Jeez.
Ask server. Yeah, that's good. Village Honda is going to bring you the Pinder report,
Oh.
but there's some things we've been telling you about the brand new CRV hybrid that is at Village. Also it's the brand new 2023 Honda Passport Trail Sport. This is the CRV that's it's between the CRV and the Pilot as far as the SUV. So if it's maybe want a little more beef, a little more the wheelbase and that from the CRV, but you don't want to go all the way to the Pilot, then this is your guide. The Trail Sport, the Passport, it is in. You can take it for a rip today. Up at the Northwest Auto Mall, it's Village Honda. Check them out online, villagehonda.com. Right now, the Pinder report.
All right, fellas, what a time to be in St. Louis on an off day. Eh?
St. Louis sure takes a beating for what I probably believe is not a terrible city.
Where would you rank it out of the, let's call it 25 American cities in the NHL?
But you talk to guys that, we like St. Louis. St. Louis is good.
Everyone that lives in the city, they're in love with that city. Otherwise, I wouldn't be living there. You're alumni, you got money, you can live lots of places.
They have a great alumni. A lot of guys stick around. The weather is pretty damn good. You get some cold, but you're not freezing all winter. Travel's good. It's a pretty good town. I mean, those guys aren't living in anywhere they're probably going to get mugged, right? Like Frank.
Right. Yeah.
Frank's staying in some skid
Frank's
hotel in the
Yeah.
Come on.
I thought you meant Philadelphia, where he's living, but also where he's staying when he goes to
But
St.
all these places in the States, these are great cities. Like, what's a crappy American city with a team? Like, even Columbus, I'm sure, is fine. It might be a little boring, but it's pleasant. Like, there's no bad cities in the States. They got rid of Hartford. Not playing in Cleveland anymore. Not in Oakland at the Cow Palace.
I'm giving St. Louis the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, you would. Speaking of St. Louis, benefit of the doubt. Last night, did you miss Afterburner? We had lots of questions and things that were concerning, but we did have a little raise of the glass to the line of Mangiapane, Coleman, and Backlund. Dean, if there was a silver lining last night, it was that line.
I'm actually surprised that you didn't bet on Mange to score.
Should have.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Here we go.
I know. Let's see it. Yeah. I thought you kind of pussyfooted around it. You took a whole line. If you're going to cheers, if you're going to have the
Backlund had the really Coleman came on in the third.
Mangiapane's
scored, and Backlund had scored as well.
Mangiapane made the nice play on the assist, off the skating in, gets that goal that he's been hungry for. It's been kind of trending towards
second half. Way you go.
I thought it was soft on both of you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, and when you host your first
just
Afterburner
wait.
with the cheers, you cheers whatever you want. You can cheers the mascot. You can cheers how big the jumbotron is.
Damn
and
right.
that's Michael Backlund, who had 5 shots and a goal tonight. Blake Coleman, team leading 6 shots and a helper tonight. And Andrew Mangiapane, who got his second half going the right way, Rhett, with his 8th of the season. Please score more than 6 more the rest of the way, Andrew. It'd be better than your first half. Added a helper. I love this line. They're tenacious. They work their tails off. They forecheck well. They defend well. They win puck battles. The fight in the dog is great in this line.
I like what you said about they're trustworthy. I think and at this level of hockey, you should know what you're going to get. And I don't know that the rest of the lines, Daryl has that confidence. Backlund's line, I trust. Put him on.
Yeah.
You want to play D? Sure, we can shut down. You want us to grind? Absolutely. We can go in the offensive zone and cause some havoc. You want us to put up some points? Yes, we're getting chances all the time to get points. Should have more points. Maybe isn't even coming easy for you. But that's the line that if you're going to take a line off the Calgary Flames, that's the one you want. They should be playing more as far as I'm concerned.
There you go. So that's from last night.
Afterburner, the new post-game show, School Nights.
School nights.
Wherever you get your podcasts, your audio podcasts, search Afterburner, 2 words. You'll find it, subscribe, like, and then every morning, chances are, if you watch the game, maybe you're staying up all night. Chances are, but the next morning on your way to work, bam, brand new Pinder content for you.
Yeah, Afterburner, keeping Pinder sober on school nights since January 3rd, 2023.
Yeah, but listen, there's beer in the fridge. You're here by yourself. We can't police you.
More from last night's game. What a sight when Milan Lucic hits the back of the net. This was to tie the game at 1, I believe. Is that right? Yeah, Luch tied it at 1. Just great to see this happening. Just what a scene.
What?
Let's have a look, Rhett.
Looks pretty happy.
That's 3-3.
The 3-3 spot, yeah.
Oh, sorry. The score is
Yellow
Hey,
Jackets.
distracted
Luch.
there.
Hey,
Who's it?
Luch. Hey, Luch.
Are they playing the Milwaukee Brewers here? I'm confused. What's with the yellow? Okay, we'll move along. Very good. We talked about posts.
Good-looking crowd there in St. Louis. Always a good
Yeah,
looking crowd.
people show up. They like
See, you
hockey.
hate St. Louis. Let's
Jumping up
go.
and down. I'm okay. I'm
Direct
in the
flights?
spirit. Yeah, let's
Let's
go. We talked about posts. Is this just some narrative we're building, or is this a real thing for the Flames?
It's a narrative you're building.
Thank you. So let's go look at the data from the NHL for people that actually count and not just speculate on whether things are real or not.
Oh, here's
your post leaders for the NHL this year. Rangers, 47. Flames and Panthers, both teams we thought would be great standing in their division. With 45.
This proves
Washington,
nothing.
44.
Nothing.
I'm not saying it proves anything. I'm saying they've hit a lot of posts. It feels like it's a lot. It's a lot. They're second in the league in posts.
What the
Here's
hell?
a scary one.
Somebody has to be first,
Seattle's
second,
at
and
43.
last.
They're good. Imagine if Seattle didn't hit as many
Well,
posts.
that's what I was going to
Holy
say.
Two of the top
so the Rangers-
scoring teams in the league are the 43 and 42. Like, I don't get your point here. Edmonton, they got
Just
guys
saying,
scored.
where they would rank in the league. Now we know it's not a.
No, it's not. But what's your point? That they should
That
have
they're
more goals?
second in the league in posts, and that they're due a little
No,
more luck around
you're taking
the net.
you're taking this and suggesting they're due more luck. Is it post? Is it not a shot that it almost went in? Is it not a shot that almost missed the net entirely as well?
That's correct. It
So
doesn't even
why
count as a
does it-
shot on net. Yes.
So why does it trend towards a goal and not a missed shot?
I mean, it could be both, but what I would suggest is if they're at 45, they're probably getting more outs than ins on the post. It's okay.
Why?
We'll lean on our data training another time.
It's not
we
that-
wanted to know where they were standing. Here they are.
That's the data. It's just why does it trend towards they should be goals as opposed to
If there's 32 teams and we distribute them in a bell curve and you're second, you're going to be an outlier from the middle. This is how data works. Okay, we'll move to Flames
See?
having a lead.
Dick,
It's so
comment.
They have
again.
not been good with 1-goal leads, fellas, as much as we like to think a Darryl club is comfy. Here's Ryan Pike on when the Flames have a 1-goal lead this season, how things have gone. -12 differential in all situations, 4th worst in the league. Nothing like that 1-goal lead for the Flames to turn into the 4th worst team in the league. And by the way, their save and shooting percentage, also 4th worst. So we want this group to be comfy playing in a 3-2 league, as Darryl calls it. The data suggests they're not good at it right now. And whether there's luck or not involved, I won't opine because people will get upset. Right now, they're not good up 1. Interesting. Or is it?
But
I don't know. You
data's
tell
not
me what I
about
should
luck.
What? You tell me
No,
what
no,
the guy
you
I just asked you.
You tell me.
And anyway, when you see those stats, maybe you feel like Jacob Markstrom last night, who here's him leaving the building after surrendering the OT winner. Have a good night. Nope. Tried to break it. Couldn't do it. Another swing.
Look at
Nope.
Kenny Thrower there,
And
taking his life in his own hands right there. God,
Oof, didn't even
Kenny,
flinch.
careful.
He's tough. Does he not look like one of those guys you bring ringside in the WWE, like a handler?
He does,
like
yeah.
Paul Bear or something like that. My Undertaker. Right? Want some positive Flames news?
We're probably due some.
Yeah. Here's a Joe Nieuwendyk something or other from somebody some time ago. Hey, that'll make us happy. Remember, Joe's a good player, eh?
Also, we're 25.
That's right. From Markstrom to Joe. Well
That's right.
done. I wouldn't have made that connection. We had a Joe Nieuwendyk something. There's a picture of him wearing an old helmet reminding you it was many moons ago. But
That big
There it is.
SK2000. Look at that thing.
1989. Most goals in a game, 5 spot. Whew.
Wouldn't
Do you know who was
Should
close
win
to
about
that record? It's
1
going to
million?
horrify you. Did someone get the score and win? Did we have score and win? Was the game televised? The game might not have been televised. Mark Jankowski was one away. Sam Bennett was one away. We've had some weird 4-goal guys in the last 10 years in this team.
Jankowski.
Ugh,
He was going to be the next Nieuwendyk.
clearly high school draft pick.
Yeah,
Obviously,
project.
wasn't it? NHL news. Okay, if there's one thing that'll ease the pain of Calgary Flames fans and us on this show, sure, the Flames will lead, but hey, look at the Oilers 10th by points percentage in the West. And did you see the lead the Canucks blew last night?
Oh, I heard about it. I didn't see it. I heard about it. I was excited.
So there's a Twitter account that says something along the lines of images that precede bad things happening. Yeah, there it is. Hockey images that precede unfortunate events. 3-0 Vancouver, shots 8-7 Pittsburgh. 12 minutes into the left in the first period. 3 bagel Rhett. Huh. Now, this is not new. And Canucks fans were not fooled. This is famous Canucks fan Tommy, who is a binge eater, and every time they lose, he'll just like destroy his insides. There has not been a single Canucks lead, no matter how significant, where I felt comfortable they could seal it out this year. Goes to show how bad this team is. I think he's right, but he's also wrong. First reply. The one lead they'll have is holding the most blown leads in the league. They're not giving that one up.
Well, it was too early, right? If 3-0, it's
it's too much
too
time
soon,
left.
guys.
Yeah,
It's too
48
soon.
minutes for Malkin and Crosby to tie that up.
The message is don't go up 3-0 in the first. Worst thing they could have done.
That's their 10th multi-goal blown lead of the season. That's one fewer than regulation wins they have. And there's the Penguins roaring back. 5 in a row.
5 straight, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. Not great. Here's the Canucks leaving Pittsburgh. They actually got footage of them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because they did team bus sometimes.
Yeah,
but
there it is.
well, this is what the big picture is.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I mean, they want Bedard. They got some work to do. They're
Where do
26.
you
That
got-
means there's what, 60?
Where do you got to get to be able to win? Third, bottom
Top
three?
3. Bottom 3. Yeah, inverse top 3. It used to be 3 pulls of the lottery wheel. Now it's 2. So if you're 4th and you win it, you move up to 2nd. You can't go all the way up to 1st.
Damn.
You used to be able to do that. And yes, the Canucks wheeling out, not in a bus, but this is how they're leaving Pittsburgh.
Is that Bruce behind the wheel?
Bruce, there it is.
Bruce, there it is. Oh, the airbag. How can you see?
Looks good.
Yeah.
Go.
I figured that's probably where you were going with that.
Yeah.
It's probably right. Yeah.
We got our all-star coaches. Probably a reminder that fresh coaches are good coaches. 4 all-star teams, 1 for each division, correct? 3 of them first-year guys. Jim Montgomery in Boston. The guy he took over for, Bruce Cassidy in the Pacific. Pete DeBoer, freshly put into Dallas.
Oh,
And Rod Brindamore, who just everyone would run through a wall for and is actually a great coach all the time.
they aren't new coaches. They've all coached before. New to me.
No,
I thought it was 4
Yes.
rookie coach. I'm like, what?
Poorly stated by me. A reminder that shelf life for coaches exists, and that Daryl, who was the best coach in the league last year, is not having a great go this year. All these guys were fired last year and are now heading to the All-Star game with their new team.
Well, and you go a step further. Jim Montgomery coached Dallas before
That's right.
he was fired.
Yeah.
Pete DeBoer was in Vegas before he got fired. Right.
Yeah,
So
and
it's-
then Cassidy goes from
Boston. So there's
to
some
Vegas. It's
Or-
it's Rod Brindamore in a weird incestuous sex triangle of coaches there.
so
Or
to your
not
point,
sex.
maybe Vegas and Boston, maybe they're good teams.
Well, how was Vegas last year? Good enough they fired their coach, I guess. Weird. Funny how it works, as Frank says. Good
Right.
job, Frankie. NFL news. We got super wild card weekend. We still call it that?
Yeah.
Super wild, extra crazy, amazing wild card weekend. The Buffalo Bills are hosting Miami. The Buffalo Bills,
Squish
divisional
the
opponent.
fish. Squish
the fish.
The fish.
You know who you're not going to be able to squish this weekend, Rhett? Tua Tagovailoa, who is out for Sunday. Make way for Skylar Thompson, boys. Line moved by like 4 points on that news today.
I almost
Minus
feel bad
13.
for that Tua because he's been so mismanaged.
you
It's BS how they've dealt with that guy all this year. He should have been out the first game against the Bills, and they let the poor bastard go back in. Of course, any athlete does the same stupid thing. You're like, yes, I'm fine to play, and then you suffer for it.
And unless they beat the Bills, that's a season-ending
not
concussion,
beating-
which
listen,
big
they're
picture,
not
I don't think so either.
beating the Bills.
The best thing for Tua might to not be hit by a professional football player until next September. So scary.
Now, that
3
said,
major concussions.
If there was going to be a Billsy way to do it,
Watch
losing
it.
to Skylar Thompson.
No, that's too early in the playoffs to lose. We're not going to
Is
lose
it?
that.
Yeah,
We're
that's
gonna
true.
Build it up before we screw it up. Come on.
More Bills news. I'm not part of the in-game management events crew, but I can guess who's going to be on the field for this tilt on Wild Card Weekend. Because guess who got released from hospital, my friends?
See out.
Isn't this unbelievable? Damar Hamlin's been discharged from Buffalo General Medical Center. So he already got shipped from Cincinnati when he was in ICU, critical care, then to a Buffalo hospital. Now he's out. If you thought that place went nuts when they ran back the opening kickoff last week, this guy's going to be on the field before kickoff, I imagine, this weekend. Bring some Kleenex in the pocket, Rhett, or just cry openly with 75,000 of your best friends. Everyone's going to be doing it anyway.
We will be rejoicing in pure pleasure. Great news.
Awesome. Like Skylar Thompson and then that, like
There's
Bills
almost
by
no
1,000.
There's almost nowhere. Now, do you know he's going to be at the game, or you're kind
No,
of?
I'm just saying, if he's out of the hospital, like where else is he going to be? You bring him in, you give everyone that lift.
That he is out of hospital is
It's incredible.
Is just tremendous for sure.
Oh, PGA Tour has some news, and PGA Tour doesn't really feel like it's a niche sport in a way, right? If you love it, you love it. But generally speaking, it takes majors or Augusta or Tiger
3 months to
hammering
Augusta.
someone in an Applebee's parking lot before it breaks into the mainstream. Hang on, because that was F1 before the people that make Drive to Survive got involved. F1 was more niche than the PGA.
Whoever gets it done.
Okay. And here we go.
That.
This is going to launch Feb 15 amid last year's season with the Live Golf drama and the defections of Dustin Johnson and other major players. This will not be boring, my friends, and maybe you're like, whatever, but what was your interest level in F1 before Drive to Survive, and what is it now? I'd ask the common sports fan. It completely changed how that sport's perceived.
One does
I
have
hope you're right.
cars that drive very fast, and there is some excitement in that. You're gonna have to kind of manufacture a bit of that with golf, but anytime you can go behind the scenes.
There's a lot of drama behind the scenes last year with that
It'll
separate
be behind the
league.
scenes, but they're also a bunch of stiffs and squares that are playing that game. Like, it's not like they're a bunch of fun-loving fellas, are they?
I feel like it's the same demo. It's obscenely wealthy white dudes driving cars or hitting golf balls.
The fact that
it's the same crew, isn't it?
The fact that it's the same, the creators and the makers of that.
Yeah.
You're not asking somebody, hey, do for us what those guys did for
just
Formula
keep
One.
doing what you're doing.
They've got a bit of a recipe, I guess.
And again, before Drive to Survive came out, did anyone think, oh, this is going to change? Like, no, I'm not an F1
it
fan.
was very
I'm gonna watch
French,
that.
yeah. And maybe still is, but gosh,
Hard.
if you
Are you
watch
saying that F1 is fringe?
I was saying before Drive to Survive, where it was in the pantheon of sport in North America versus where it is now is like light years away.
North America,
Yeah,
right?
it's always been big in Europe. We get it. But like NASCAR was way bigger than F1. I don't know if that's the case anymore. Like F1's coming to Vegas, what, 2-3 years into that series?
Yeah, you don't live in the
Going
States,
fast
so
and turning
NASCAR wasn't big in Canada. You come down here and everybody's still got they've fantasy NASCAR. Man, it's nutso down here.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not going to hurt PGA being involved in that, I'm guessing. Finally, couple, always good to check in on Americans with their geography of Canada. As we had the North with players from Montreal, Toronto, and Kitchener. Now, why don't we try to find these? Boy, Montreal's way up there. And is Kitchener in Manitoba and Toronto on the west side of James Bay and Hudson Bay?
They couldn't fit it on.
Who did this?
Maybe the slide moved on them.
Did Shaquille O'Neal do this map? What the hell's happening? This is awful. If that's Montreal, where's Ottawa? Alex, where are you? Are you in Nunavut? I think Iqaluit is now Ottawa.
Shoveler was supposed to
Americans are
drive
very
to
good at
Toronto
American
tomorrow,
geography.
but I don't think she'll make
That's
it.
a long way.
That's a
to
long
there.
way now.
It's a haul.
I don't know if the States does not look close on that image. I got to tell you.
Shoveler, no more shopping in Toronto. That's too much gas. We can't.
Yeah.
Jeepers.
Those are the people that we've entrusted half the American TV rights to, TNT.
I thought Buffalo was a lot closer to Toronto.
I really did as
yeah.
well. Yeah. And finally, my kids don't miss me. That's the end of the Pinder report. They're having a good time without Dad.
Look at
Oh,
boogie board.
Perfect as that look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plus
I've seen-
28, water,
Some-
same temperature
summer.
as the air.
I've seen their
Summer in
mom posting some
Australia.
stuff on social media. It
Hey,
seems like
perv.
they're handling
They're okay.
Dad not being around just fine. They're coping.
They're on a tour right now. This is-
Excellent coping skills without Dad.
I don't know that Dad's
Yep.
coping as well without them.
That hurts though, right?
Dad, look at it, man. And it's like, oh yeah, Grandpa and their uncle, they're the ones teaching them to boogie board. I'm like, oh,
See, if you weren't such an asshole, I'd almost feel bad for you missing out on that.
I know.
Yeah.
That's your Pinder report.
But here we
That's
are.
what it is. Look at that weather. Eh?
Village Honda Northwest Auto Mall coming very soon. I mentioned the Honda Passport, the Trail Sport is there very soon. The brand new generation Honda Accord, redefining sophistication and sleek styling. Got a hybrid you can get fired into that thing. Has all kinds of technology built into this. It's the newly redesigned Honda Accord for 2023. Go online, visit them. It'll be in soon. You'll be able to be one of the first to get your hands on that thing. Village Honda, Northwest Auto Mall, your dealership for life.
Be up there soon.
Technology and
That's right.
stuff. The technology.
Technology
and
and stuff. Jasper Pond Hockey, we chirped Frank about it. We are getting ready for it. I talked to Serge yesterday from Tower. Details on that I'll share tomorrow, maybe on the show tomorrow. But he's getting ready. You're kind of the pseudo coach GM of this thing.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to get us to a spot where we can play and not embarrass the entire FlamesNation brand. I don't know that anyone else is pulling the rope that way.
Yeah,
But,
Dean doesn't
yeah,
seem to
we're-
care.
He's put his skates on once in a decade.
He's
That's not
content
ideal.
with what he is. He's not. He's not.
He said, "Yeah,
Not
I'll do a
in-
couple shifts and then I'll work the jukebox and have some beers."
My contribution is to not play. I'm helping.
How many of those guys do we have, though? That's my concern. I think Serge has gone out and got some new jets and Twig, but is he new to the sport or did he quit it and give his gear away? I'm concerned about someone in brand new skates on an outdoor pond if it's like -10 and we have to play like 6 matches.
He's taking it very 6. Is that what?
Well, it's a tournament. There's lots of teams.
Oh, we'll be out early.
Well,
If I have any say in it.
people treat it like, yeah.
Hey, it's the 2023 Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament hosted at the beautiful Fairmont Jasper Park Lodge. You can be a part of it. We're going, and it's you know what it is? It's a big deal. I'm finding out. People
Well,
go to this
yeah.
thing, they get very excited for it. CHEhockey.com is the website. Get your team. If they're still taking teams, this thing's huge. Get in there now. Go online, CHEhockey.com. Get your team in, get your rooms booked, and be ready for an unbelievable time. The whole town and the area of Jasper is pulling out all the stops. They got all kinds of things planned: food, music, fireworks, events. It's so much more than just the hockey tournament. So get ready for that. We're a couple weeks away now.
Pinder's running tryouts this weekend.
Got
He
Mandeep's.
is.
Mandeep's coming out to play a little 3-on-3.
I
on
know,
Saturday.
Mandeep, BK
He
Beaufort
wants
Liquor.
in.
I'd like to be a sponsor of the new Afterburner. Sure, that'd be good. Do you have any skates?
Wow. Or it's, hey, we need someone that can play. I know he has skates. We were scrolling through pictures from BK, and it's a younger Mandeep wearing quadrant
like it.
jacket. Like
We'll
he
need to
can
share
play.
some of that. We'll need to
Tan
share some
man,
of that.
put it on it. He says, Mandeep will put it on T for you.
Perfect.
All kinds of apples, backdoor tap-ins.
But this is pond hockey. Like, it's little nets. There's no goalies. Like, what are you teeing up?
What you're going to need to do is to be able to make some passes through some small openings and find teammates.
Yeah, but you're not firing 1T clappers. Off.
No, but you need
Putting
someone
it on
that
a
can
tee for you.
slide something through to you.
Alright.
You need a good distributor here.
This is going to be quite a show. I miss you, but I really wish you were at this thing.
Yeah, when's that gonorrhea clear up? We need to cross the border here.
Is that what it is? That can't.
No, it's not. I'm well
Sorry,
clear
here,
on it.
Mr. Warner. Looks like your paperwork's good. You've got your passport.
positive.
That's all good. Oh my goodness.
He's a health risk to the country. We
He's
can't
got
let
the
him in.
G. Let's do our Betway Bets of the day, and we'll do a little prep for tomorrow's show, and then we'll let you get out of here. Betway Bets of the day. Do bet responsibly. I didn't know which way to go. 4 games tonight in the National Hockey League. Here's how I'm going. We talked about the Oilers. They're in a bad way, all this sort of thing. Edmonton factoring in for me on one of my bets. Washington at Philadelphia. The Capitals, 13-2-2 in their last 17 games. Ovi is at 29 goals. That's tied for the league lead. I say he gets 30 tonight. Bo Horvat and Robertson.
I believe there's 3 players with 30 goals, but yes, he's very high.
Is that what it is? Okay, then he's just tied with Robertson. And
yes, he
and
can
Horvat.
become the 4th to get to 30, I think.
I say he gets the 30 plus 100. And then the 2 games tonight, that one, Washington, Philly, Edmonton, Anaheim. If I'm already going with Ovechkin, I may as well throw McDavid in there as well.
It's free money.
Both to score a goal plus 250. Those are my 2 picks.
All right, very good. Your goal scoring leaders, by the way, McDavid 34, Pasternak 32, Tage 31.
I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
It's all right. You're close. I'm kind of dancing with you a little bit here. I'm going to go with the Oilers stack. Anytime they show up and look like crap like they did in LA in their last game, you know there's going to be a more concerted effort to play the right way. And then what it really means is Connor and other guy, is a German. If you're not scoring, we're in trouble. They're playing the awful Ducks in Orange County. I'm going with the Draisaitl McDavid stack plus 250 if they both score. Love it. Also, want to stay hot? Kevin Fiala, 4 points on the man advantage the other night against the Oilers. You get San Jose. They're not better than the Oilers. 2+ points. Let's get sexy. Plus 220.
Yeah, San Jose stinks.
Yeah, they do.
Tell you what, LA and Seattle, we talked about yesterday. I don't think they're a joke.
My biggest concern for the Kings was their goaltending, and Phoenix Copley, of all people, has been their savior. That's who they're riding in net.
It's almost like goalies are voodoo, Rhett. Logan Thompson leading the way in Vegas. It's almost like you can't figure it out.
Ooh! Phoenix Copley.
Flames fans thought they were in good shape. They got Jacob Markstrom. Now it's what's going
Well,
on
they may be in good
in
shape.
LA? Hey, Phoenix Copley off of waivers. Voodoo. There you go. That's our Betway Bets of the day. And we want to invite you tomorrow on the program. Thursday means Ask Rhett for Hope Street. And I've liked some of the fun. Now, again, before Christmas, we were doing a lot of holiday stuff, a lot of food sort of things.
Food, booze, holidays, in-laws.
You can email in your questions. AskRhett@FlamesNation.ca. You can go on your Twitter, hashtag AskRhett. We'll filter it through that way as well. But I feel like you're in a good, you're not doing the early mornings anymore. I feel like this is when you're at your most cerebral, midday for you.
Oh, yeah, cerebral. That's me. I'm deep. It still comes down to the question.
That's you.
It still comes down to the questions that come in. You can't stupid question, stupid answer. That's what happens.
You get dumb media people asking
know,
questions.
dumb
How are we
media
supposed to
people.
sound smart as hockey players?
That's right.
Eh?
It's a presentation of Hope Street. Hope Street Rental Property Management. Don't use your time. Let them go to work for you. Managing tenants, getting you premium rental rates on your property. You sleep easy knowing your property's safe, it's protected, that money's coming in. They take care of all of it for you. You want to just meet virtually, you can do that online. You can book it at hopestreet.ca. Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, 3 locations in Western Canada, and they are the property manager of the year in our fine country of Canada.
It's almost like Rhett Person of the Year.
That's right.
Those two brands come together.
Do you think
for
Shaman
us,
has one of those?
That might have been who sent it.
One of those trophies.
He's got the Property Manager of the Year award.
Yeah.
It's got like a house. It's gold, and then the Person of the Year is the Rhett statue.
Because I feel like it's when in Hollywood, when you're an actor and you've won a Golden Globe or an Oscar, you relate more with other actors who are in your echelon who have also won hardware.
It's like those guys hanging around the Hall of Fame trading stories.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Have you won a Person of the Year award? Oh, no, hey.
All right.
Private
Well,
club.
I'll see you in a bit. We'll catch up later.
Yeah.
Private club.
What's cooking today there, Rhett?
HopeStreet.ca.
Beauty. Wednesday?
Today I'm cooking. I'm going to use the air fryer for some shrimp tonight.
What were you going to cook in it the other day?
Prime rib or something.
No, I made a brisket. It was in the pressure cooker. It was unbelievable. Pressure cooker for
So
like
the same
hour and a
unit,
half.
pressure
Same
cook it, and then it just stays in there, and then you fry it.
It has 2 different lids. One's a pressure
Okay.
cooker lid, and one's an air fryer lid. It was
This is quite
phenomenal.
piece of machinery.
I can kind of wrap my head around that. Listen, the pressure cooker, it's not new technology. It's been around forever. But if you're doing stuff like where you got to cook it low and slow,
Mhm.
can help you get around that.
Speed it up a little
Really
bit.
can help you get around that.
I got to chat with a plumber, and
Oh,
got a very serious U9 coaching meeting here coming up real quick.
How many more days are you on your
dumping
own?
Chase?
9 days.
9 more? You're not going to make it.
I've
Why didn't you
exhausted all the fridges that are at my disposal. And we're now into gift cards, and those are getting depleted at a very brisk rate. Then it's going to be the food delivery / loitering at the bar eating peanuts.
It's bloody amazing. You're good. I'm proud of you, actually, for using the gift cards, because the shoveler and I, we go through it once a year. We'll run into the bag of gift cards. Oh,
Yep.
geez, we got to use these. There's hundreds of dollars in
Yep.
gift cards, and you're like, man, we got to use this stuff. Use about 2 of them, and then the bag gets put away somewhere, and a year later you find it again. Oh, geez, we got to use the gift card. Idiots.
At least you do it that way. Our thing is, oh, it's a gift card. Nice. Well, we'll put that somewhere. And then didn't we have like $100 gift card to?
Yeah, we did for sure.
You know, the whatever. No, I don't know where was that. We probably got about 25 grand in gift cards sitting around somewhere. It's a waste.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
It's true. It's true.
Alex has to go.
No, I think he's okay. He wants to go.
Yeah, I would too after watching this crap every day.
He texted me because we know nobody, and I mean nobody loves Ottawa more than Alex. And when we were talking about St. Louis, he says the Canucks are from St. Louis. So of course Brady.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, I never heard that.
So because Brady is from St. Louis, he's gonna by connection love St. Louis as well. God, he loves Ottawa.
Yeah.
Hey.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well.
Do you think other people do like Ottawa and we just don't know them? Or is he literally the only guy out there?
They like Ottawa so much, those few people, they never leave.
Yeah.
They're overjoyed to stay.
Huh.
They're tucked in at 9 p.m. reading Ottawa's top 10 restaurants book or something like that.
I was there for the draft. Because remember, now the rink is in Canada, which is so far away. Far.
Great rink.
And
great off-ramp. Great city.
Yeah. I forget which the Phoenix Coyotes at the time, Arizona Coyotes, their first round pick was the Russian kid. And what do you do the night when you're a first round selection?
Oh boy.
His grandpa, I think, was the Russian coach. I've drawn a blank. Anyway, so we finish up the show. We come back in. We're going back out for round 2 the next day. Well, nothing's open. There's no you can't. It's a Friday night in Ottawa. Let's go out, have a steak. Let's go do something. Good luck. No chance. Russian first round draft pick. His family, they're all dressed up nice.
Yeah, suits. Biggest day of their lives.
Yeah. Getting some doubles at the Timmy's.
Oh, yeah, Davey Keon's. That's how you
Crushing farmers wraps and some mochas. Nice.
They're not as good in the States. The farmers wrap.
Because you'd have them there. How far, like when you go to Pittsburgh, are they all in that area where you are, or just kind of spotty?
It's they're spottier the further south you go, for sure. But in this area, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find this Russian kid. What are you talking about?
Who was the longtime Russian Red Army coach?
Ryan, he was
Tikhonov.
just making it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Tikhonov.
All right. Thank you.
Like, I'm done.
Tikhonov's going to find you on Twitter to be like, I'll even eat farmer wraps.
Well, and
ha, you donkey.
Yeah, that's right.
How true is that story? If I've never even had one farmer wrap. Woo, posterized. Dunked on ya.
You got me. You take the L, fat boy. Have a great, whatever this day is, Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow. Get your ribs, get some rest, do whatever you got to do, and we'll be back tomorrow. It'll be another game day against the St. Louis Blues.
Oh, can't wait.
You know, now in a way, are you happy they're playing them again?
No.
If you tell me they're going to play better, yeah. If they're going to lose to the Blues again.
I
Fuck
feel
that.
like
Go
that's
somewhere
they
else
should.
and lose.
I'm happy, I guess, because I feel like they should beat them. They should have beat them last night. So okay, sure, but I don't see any personal vendettas that need to be dealt with that are going to make it an exciting game.
I don't mean vendettas. I guess in
Vladar.
personal pride and satisfaction.
Don't care.
Maybe let's finish the job. Let's get a lead. Let's
Just
try
win
and not shit our pants this time.
Oh,
Well, dude, it was 3-1.
I know it's you're not wrong. It's
3-1
it's pointed language, but it's accurate.
going into the third period. They gave up 2 and a third that was disallowed, and then lost 28 seconds into overtime. If that ain't shitting your pants,
Victor Tikhonov, 28th in 08. Also took Michael Bodker, top 10 that year.
that's right, Kitchener Ranger. And I remember the thing with Tikhonov, didn't really pan out, right? But
I mean, if you count 11 goals in your NHL career as a first rounder is not panning out, fine.
But the next connection to him was he was back in Russia and playing with Panarin. And the thought was, if you can get Tikhonov, his buddy Panarin might come with you, he might come over. Didn't really work out that way.
Maybe if you get Bob to come to Florida, Panarin would come.
That's
Oh no,
right.
he just wanted to
Yeah.
play in New York. Okay, he was always coming to New York.
Well, that's what they used to say about the Warners. If you could get Trevor, maybe
Todd.
you'll get Rhett.
Todd.
Yeah, if
That's
you could
what
get,
they said. Yeah.
Yeah, if you could get
That's what
Todd
Pete
Warner.
Shirelli said. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. If you could get Kurt Warner, maybe you can get Rhett Warner. That's it. We're out. See you tomorrow,
Warner
buddies. Have a
sucks.
great day.
Yeah.
Later.